Yes, this is the inventory menu of Assassin's Creed Mirage. I think it looks clean, lots to discuss. We also got a better look at the combat, which got me really excited, although I'm not so sure about the skills. I want to start with a brand new feature though that was just announced called the History of Baghdad that we find in the Codex tab of the menu. Here you can also find game tutorials and a database with lore as we come to expect from the previous games, but now also with a ton of historical facts about the setting of Mirage. Seems like there will be 66 of these historical sites in the game that we can interact with from afar, which then unlocks a new part of the codex with details on that location, or with an image of, for example, a relic from that time provided by real-life museums. Ubisoft also worked with historians to get this info right, and they divided it in 5 topics: economy, belief and daily life, government, art and science, and court life. Maybe you are noticing it as well. It's basically a smaller version of the Discovery Tour, but then integrated into the main game and available at launch instead of later on, because there's of course no DLC planned for Mirage. They, by the way, also note that there's an in-game reward for Basim once completed, so likely after getting all these 66 historical sites. I hope it's like a cool outfit or something. I want to zoom in on the compass in a new screenshot, because here we see a very cool new icon for the viewpoints in the game. Like compared to Valhalla, this one looks way cooler. We see a nearby wanted poster you can remove to decrease your notoriety, and it is probably a stable ride where we can maybe get new mount upgrades or a new mount altogether. Okay, now let's look at the armor dice, skills and way more. Of course, if you are hyped for Mirage, then don't leave a like, that would really help me out, and subscribe so you don't miss anything on the game. But first, let's fight some huge creatures in Call of Dragons, which is easier said than done, as you will need to go into one of the 8 behemoth lairs prepared. Learn their attack patterns, bring your best melee units to have a strong defensive front line, place the ranged units behind it, and use the abilities of your heroes wisely in order to succeed. And they can tame the behemoth and summon it as a secret weapon against your enemies to turn the tide of battle, like have the Thunder Rock drop on enemies or the Hydra blast them away. And you can upgrade your behemoths as well to make them even stronger. Call of Dragons has you choose a faction and then build the ultimate fortress and army to take more control of the map by fighting legions of other players with PC and mobile crossplay. So you can play the game everywhere and anytime you want. Master the behemoths to rule the world by downloading the game for free via the special link in the video description or using the QR code that you see on screen. And only use the code CODMonster for special in-game rewards. Thanks to Call of Dragons for sponsoring the video, and now let's get back into it. We got one important thing straight about the setting of Mirage. Sarah, the narrative director, said this during the announcement of the game at the Assassin's Creed Showcase.
It's Basim. It's 20 years before Valhalla, so it's a young Basim that is gonna be coming from a street thief to a master assassin.
While in the brand new behind the scenes video they just dropped, she says this.
Assassin's Creed Mirage is set in 861 AD, 12 years before the events of Valhalla.
We know that Basim is 17 at the start of Mirage, so that makes him 29 at the start of Valhalla. I would have given him like end of 30s easily. I think this shows you that they probably did not plan to make this Basim game until much later in the development of Valhalla, as it doesn't really add up. Or maybe these visions just really take its toll on Basim, which could totally be another explanation why he kinda looks way older than he is. The highlight in the second behind the scenes video is totally the menu that they showed, which is clearly similar to Valhalla, although it also has its own very distinctive look. We see outfits and costumes as 2 separate tabs, which is interesting. Like, you would think that they kinda mean the same, but I think the difference is probably that costumes are like set outfits that cannot be changed, like the Prince of Persia armor from the deluxe edition, for example, or potential legacy outfits would fit here as well. While in the outfits tab, we probably find the outfits that we can earn by playing the game, and these can also be changed in terms of color thanks to the outfit dice that are making a return. With quite a lot of options for Basim's iconic robe that we get the moment we reach Baghdad, and we now learned that it's called the Initiate of Alamut outfit. I think we see the outfit color that was a Twitch drop in the menu here as well. And there's also the Zanji Uprising outfit, so maybe inspired by Ali ibn Muhammad, who is the leader of the Zanji rebellion. Would be awesome if we get something inspired by his armor, or maybe it's what we see Basim wear here in the story trailer. Either way, there should be many outfits. They also showed some concept art of maybe hopefully outfits that we can also find in the game, because they all look really awesome. And we can probably pick up new colors for these outfits at Weavers that we can spot thanks to this icon on our compass. Yes, it looks very similar to the icon we had in Origins as well, and I'm curious if we can also buy outfits at these shops, just like in Origins, or if we can only get new colors here. Next to outfits, we also have a brand new tile for talismans, something I speculated about in a previous video, like this is where that Hourglass of Time from the Deluxe Edition will likely be slotted. And we also saw a regular accessory in the Ubisoft Forward gameplay, kind of bouncing around during the conversation at the Hidden Ones Bureau. This is probably also a talisman. I hope it also comes with like some gameplay bonuses. Even if they're just small passive effects, I think that would be nice. There should be small perks on the two weapons we can use, swords and daggers, with them showing some concept art for swords that we can likely find throughout the game, with one of them looking a lot like the weapon that Russian is using in the story trailer, so maybe we can use that as well. They also briefly showed the Hidden One sword, maybe the best sword we can find in the game. And I love that it still shows the Assassin's Creed Rift logo here, which of course the code name for Mirage. And yes, we now have footage of Basim using these swords in combat, which looks a lot like the RPG games. No damage numbers though, but still a health bar and a stun bar above the health that can drop down with a parry. Sometimes a parry is an instant stun, so then Basim can kill the target off with one hit, like this lower rank guard, while this spearman needs 2 parries to go down. So they can maybe better kill it with some regular sword swings. And I really love these stylish finishers, by the way. Combat should be your last resort though, but I'm curious if my nightmare difficulty skills from Valhalla will make it possible to just like finish every encounter with a melee fight. I will totally be trying that after a proper stealth run, of course. And maybe you saw the kickback prompt again during the combat, which for the kickback skill that you can unlock in the Phantom skill tree. Yes, we got our first ever look at the skill menu in Mirage, which includes 3 skill trees: Phantom, Trickster, and Predator. The first skill in the Phantom skill tree is one we also saw in Valhalla called Break Fall, where Basim will perform a roll when landing to reduce fall damage. In Valhalla, if you would jump and then aim with your bow, you would slow down time, and well, in Mirage there's the skill Airstrike, where when jumping and aiming mid-air with the throwing knife, you can slow down time as well. And again, the third skill is Kickback. After a successful parry, press Y on Xbox, so triangle on PlayStation, to strike the parried enemy. Use the left stick to strike in another direction. So you can likely use that to kick an enemy off the edge, or maybe into another enemy. And these are all the skills that they showed, but we can already guess some of the other skills. So this is the same icon as the chain assassination from Valhalla, and we know that Basim can also take a second target out after assassinating the first one. So you can likely do that after unlocking this skill. This crosshair might be related to the blow dart, although your theories are of course more than welcome. And it is a similar icon to the dodge roll from Valhalla, and we know that Basim can perform this move too, so it's likely the final skill of the Phantom tree. The Trickster skill tree starts with the same icon as auto loot from Valhalla, where you loot an enemy immediately after a melee kill or stealth takedown. Likely the same here. The second one has to do with healing. We also got one for the throwing knives. My prediction is that if you kill an enemy with a throwing knife, you can then loot that knife from the enemy by going to their body. And your theories are more than welcome for the other skills. And then we got the Predator tree. This likely enhancing either our Thief's Sense or the Assassin's Focus. But this skill tree is mostly focused on our bird Enkidu though, making him more useful, which is like fine, I guess. Like, I gotta say, this skill tree is kinda boring. All the impactful skills seem to be from Valhalla, and apart from that, there are just passive increases. There are also 16 skills in total, which is not that big of a deal if they were more impactful, and the skill cost, by the way, increases the lower you go in the skill line. But we can reset skills, so spend the points elsewhere, and likely also reset all the skills in one go with the button that we can't see here, but I think it's for that. I think this is really where we see that this started as a Valhalla DLC and is now a full game. Let's hope though that the rest of the features are more fleshed out. I got more big Mirage videos planned, so totally subscribe to not miss those. A like on the video would of course really help me out. Check out Call of the Dragons via the link in the video description, and you can watch my reaction and impressions of the gameplay demo from Ubisoft Forward by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.